3UZ 6-speed is done. Let me quickly run through it with you. So you've got the 6-pin connector here for your accelerator or for your throttle body. Okay, so that is your TPS and your power control for the for your drive-by-wire basically. Okay, then you've got your EFI water temp sensor. We add in this one over here. This is for a water temp for your cluster. Okay, to give you your engine temperature. You'll see, I dig in there, there's basically a stopper plug right under there, just underneath the EFI water temp sensor. Okay, so that is the best place to take your engine temperature from. Okay, so screw in a water temp sensor, and if you get a Toyota one, you can use the Toyota one. It doesn't matter what vehicle you're building it into. Just make sure that the connector is the same as that. Okay, so if you need to calibrate it, that can be done through resistors. Your injector connectors, nothing is wrong with them. Your VVT cam, so in other words, this is your post VVT. Okay, connector did not need to be replaced. Your harness was in very good shape. VVT harnesses or 6-speed harnesses are generally in very good condition. Okay, so none of your coil injector or your coil connectors were replaced. They very, very seldom go bad. Okay, coming down here, you've got your piece coming to your airflow meter. So you've got a 5-pin connector that goes to your airbox with your airflow meter. Okay, and then it carries on going down, and you've got your alternator, which is that 4-pin over there, right? All of that's wired into your system, so all you got to do is plug that into the back of your alternator, and then obviously you've got your M8 bolt that is your main charge. So your main charge cable needs to go to your battery. Okay, and then that'll all work. And then this is for your right-hand bank O2 sensor. Make sure that all of that's plugged in, because your system, system does its calculations through those signals. Over here, so we're on the back right-hand side of the motor. This is your variable intake length, right? So that is an actuator that controls this valve, right? Make sure that that is connected, because it changes the torque on low RPM. Okay, back of the engine harness, you've got an earth strap here, and on the left bank you've got another one. These are the 2 earths that supply the whole system. Okay, make sure that they are properly earthed. It may also be a good idea to, you'll see there's multiple holes, so take another ground from there and take it to your firewall. Okay, you can use I would go probably 14 gauge, something like that, just basically from there to the firewall. Okay, same thing here. All of your coil packs, all of that, all of your injector connectors, none of that needed to be replaced. Right, all of them are good shape. Okay, I'm going to run around to the front. This is your pre-VVT cam sensor. Make sure that that's plugged in. Okay, again, nothing wrong with it. And then it runs down and it goes to your crank sensor. This cable usually runs, you see that little, that cavity, right? Runs behind that cavity and it comes out at the bottom. It stops this cable from getting tied up in the serpentine belt. Okay, what a lot of people do is they cable tie it, whatnot. There's no need to do that. You can basically, just run it the way that the dealer did. Okay, so running through that cavity, it's a bit of a pain getting it through, but you'll get it through. It's not that bad. Okay, and then you've got another T-piece out here, and it goes to your oil pressure switch. Okay. So just make sure that all of this, is out of the way of getting damaged. And the same thing goes as far as what your O2 sensors. So on the back left hand side you got this one running down. Just make sure that, I don't know what you're doing as far as what headers go, so just make sure that is out of the way of getting burnt, right? Main engine harness coming out, left hand front, so you've got a T-piece that comes out of there and it goes down to your fuse box. In your fuse box you've got all of your fuses for all your various circuits, so you basically got your ignition, you got your fuel, you got your sensors circuit, you've got your coils and injectors, and so it goes on. Everything is marked on the bottom of your fuse box lid, right? So that is all there. Okay. You've got a start relay, you've got your fuel system relays, and you've got your ignition relays. Okay, you've got a LED it's basically your engine light, and you've got a common ground. Okay, so it's all built in. You don't have to worry about anything there. Just secure the fuse box. Doesn't require any grounds. Basically, everything's self-contained into the actual harness itself, right? And then coming down, you've got your ECU. So your ECU, we've flashed that. We've given you a upgraded flash. So you've got I say an upgraded flash. It's a performance flash. That'll give you probably an extra, probably around 13% more than what the stock tune would give you. Okay, but everything's there. I've taken off the original part numbers and stuff because that no longer applies, because the ECU has been flashed with a completely different program. So all of the data, all of your calibration data or your calibration IDs and whatnot have been marked on the ECU for your reference, right? This is your client plug. So this is basically what you're going to be connecting to your vehicle. So you've got your fuel pump, you've got your ignition, you've got your start, you've got your rev counter, temperature gauge, oil light, and charge light. That is your 7 connectors in the front, or your 7 terminals in the top row. Your second row is all to do with your OBD2 diagnostics. Okay, all of that is already pre-wired into your client plug, so you don't have to worry about that. If you do want to extend it, just cut it and connect it color to color, right? So you can move your diagnostics connector wherever you would like to have it. And then your last connector is basically your accelerator pedal, your middle one. So the first 3 is your accelerator pedal, your last 3 is your accelerator pedal. Your middle one is your air conditioning pump actuator or magnetic clutch, right? So that will activate the compressor for your air conditioning. Okay, it's all in your client plug or in your client folder, so you'll have no problem there. And if you've got any questions, you just give us a shout. This main red one coming out of here, that goes directly to your battery positive. Okay, so this is your main power supply for the system. Some guys put on a fuse. The only time that will ever really, because remember, everything that runs through this is fused in your fuse box. So the only time that would actually apply is, God forsake that you end up in an accident and this cable actually gets, crimped onto or smashed into an earth, and then you've got a dead short. So some guys do put on a brake or a breaker or a fuse on the battery itself where you connect that up to. I've never really worried about it because the chances of that are so remote, but that's completely up to you. That's completely up to you. Yeah, so I'll put on the airbox and plug in the airflow meter, and then put together a video for you of her up and running. So I've put on the air intake tube, I've put on the airbox and plugged in the airflow meter, right? The one thing I just want you to double check on is, a lot of guys make this mistake. You got a tube coming out of your air intake tube, so this is all basically one, and you've got a tube coming out of here, and it goes to your right hand bank valve cover. Okay, that is an air intake going into the valve cover, and it's part of the ventilation system for the motor. So it's basically going to come into this valve cover, it's going to run through, it's going to pull all the dirty air out of your engine block, and it's going to come out of that valve cover, and it's going to come through you got a valve over here, okay, and it's going to go through that, and it's going to go into your intake, and that's going to depollute your engine block. So it's going to keep your engine block clean, okay, and basically burn that dirty stuff, right? All the the vapor and so on, all the oil vapor. Okay, so a lot of guys don't put a filter on there, and they put a filter on the side. Don't do that. Okay, just connect it up. If you've got an aftermarket intake system, just make sure that there's a T-piece coming out of there. Take a tube coming out of that and connect it up to that tube over there, right? Because that's where it's going in. Because that air is going to end up going into your motor, and that needs to be calculated by your airflow meter. So therefore, that needs to be between your throttle body and your airflow meter. So whatever's going in is going to go into your motor. That's cool, but it needs to be measured by your airflow meter. Okay. So yeah, everything's basically, let's give it a run. So we just do ignition. I can't run it for very long because I don't have a water system on here. She runs good, nothing wrong with her. Yeah, so she's been flashed for manual application, and yeah, you should have no error codes. Everything should be rock and roll for you. If you've got any troubles, you just give us a shout. But yeah, you should have no problem at all. 3Z 6-speed, really, really good stuff.